I seriously still believe that XRP is going to be one of the craziest opportunities in the crypto market for 2025, and I guess the 2026 run as well. Having said that, there's been a lot of announcements recently, but I think one of the most interesting ones comes from the Ripple CEO of today, because he shared something I think a lot of you guys are overlooking that essentially is huge for XRP. Let's decide, or I guess let's just go ahead and take a little bit of a look, right? Let's not talk too much. So Brad Garlinghouse of Ripple posted a little bit earlier today that per CME Group data, XRP futures contracts were the fastest ever, just over 3 months, to hit $1 billion in open interest. And if you take a look at the rest, August was hot, but the crypto space was hotter. A record $36 billion in open interest for crypto futures and options on August 22nd. 1,006 large open interest holders. XRP, SOL, and Micro Ether futures OI hit all-time highs. Institutional activity is broadening beyond just Bitcoin. I think an interesting thing that many do not note or have not really considered or thought about is just how huge these things are in the back end. And with now Trump's new wave to make all this crypto more friendly to the current business climate, to the traditional finance, let's call it, these things start to appeal to me way more and more and more. And the fact that XRP out of all these was actually the fastest ever to hit $1 billion in open interest, and nobody's talking about it, to me is a pretty big deal. Why is nobody talking about this? Why is nobody bringing this up? Nobody seems to care for some reason. Part of me thinks is just because of the nature of XRP. It's slow but steady, consistent grind in the background within kind of what I expect, and all of a sudden massive surge when it happens. And what I mean with that is XRP usually goes for a crazy, absolutely crazy surge when people expect it least, while it's consistently building proper partnerships, proper announcement, and just a solid base. And I've referred to this current price range between $2 and $3 as the new what I call 50 cent, where XRP was trading at 50 cents for so freaking long. And in, I believe, October of 2024, all of a sudden went for a massive surge. I kind of feel like we're building that similar price back up, that similar surge back up. Now, I want to quickly say, though, that in lieu of that, I'm also, for the most part, just using my bots to take advantage of XRP's volatility. If you've got no idea, check out the link down below that I've placed down. But what I'm showing you right here is just a competition that's going on for only our users where, again, if you open a new bot right now, you might get yourself upwards of $1,000. I mean, 10 people will win. And you can see there's not even 20 people that have entered. So right now there's a 50-50 chance for you to win. And if you're wondering what exactly am I talking about in terms of bots, here's, for example, my $250,000 XRP trading bot where I do nothing, right? I just place the orders, put the exact targets in, put my exact metrics in, and just take my hands back. It's right now sitting at roughly 100% profit in the past 121 days. Theoretically speaking, gridding out 160% a year, which right now we are at 52% for. This is just cashed out profits. And then the trend is basically just the XRP price going up from the place at which we started at. And I just keep up in the game. I just keep buying more of these bots, just keep either investing more. And one of the most recent things I've also done is, if we scroll through here, is I've made a new coin margin bot, which basically means that I am, I added one wrong bot to the wrong category. I'll fix that in just a second. I also added, let me quickly press here. There we go. I also added some XRP bot that basically is supposed to get me more XRP. So the idea here is, even though right now the price is down severely since we opened it, you can see I opened it at 340. Right now it's 280. Right? You can see we still made 800 XRP in the process. Yes, we're down a lot right now, but that's because theoretically speaking, right, we are 5 times leveraged with our 5,000 XRP. We should be down significantly more in the process right here. But given time, and I've got time, I've got patience, as long as my position does not get wrecked, I think this is going to be an extremely profitable endeavor. And that's really, for the most part, what I've been focusing on, just getting my positions greater, because I understand XRP in the back end is quietly but surely building. I want to get as much XRP and as much allocation in terms of dollars in XRP. And if you want to join my strategies, by the way, all links are down below. You get some nice bonus for just signing up with the first link. You can also get yourself a nice deposit bonus with the second. And there's always going to be a link down below there for like competition. And if you want to copy mine bots and all that type of stuff, you can also find it down below. I will add to it as well that there's also nowadays a Discord where you guys can hopefully discuss everything. And we are making a new section where all the technical analysis I'm sharing over on Twitter right now will also be shared over in Discord. See, the camera is doing a bit of lag, but it's all okay. So if you're interested in more of the scalping, which we're going to be doing in live streams a lot more in the near future, just join the Discord for right now. It's completely free. If you're wondering, by the way, about the other trades, guys, still massive profits. It's a lot less than before, but I'm patient, all right? I've been through way worse, and this is one thing y'all got to understand. If you're not a patient person, having these larger swing trades open is going to be really, really hard, right? But I'm patient because the thing is, the moment I start touching them too much, pause, it sounds a bit strange, but hey, the moment I start fiddling around with it, it sounds strange as well. What's the best way to say that? The moment I start clicking too much, I think that works out fine in terms of a sentence. Things can actually go quite wrong. Whereas on the opposite side, if I'm quite convinced the next 2 quarters are going to be ending themselves quite positively, all I got to do is be able to wait it out, right? And I told y'all for ETH, I'm going to be entering with massive size. If we were to go back to 3,900, that's basically what I'm waiting for. And you saw me open a little position here over on 𝗬𝗂𝗃. It's probably down a few $1,000s, could be. No, it's just down a few $100s. I just opened this to prove to everybody you can get yourself a nice free position. I've got it linked down below for 𝗬𝗃 as well. But we're basically opening the main size. I still got $100,000 in my account to open at least $1 million position, but I want to maybe open 300K only. Let's see what time brings here. At about $3,900 in ETH. I'm waiting for it. Right now we are at 4,300. I'm still not adding, by the way. No, it's still way too high. I guess potentially from about I'm going to say from about 4,050, I'm going to get really excited to start adding again. Theoretically speaking, this entire box is where I could add. Last time I did as well at about 42 something, right? But for the most part here, we want to wait for ETH. We're a little bit more bullish on XRP at this exact moment. But of course, that is also going paired with what I said in earlier video today, that for the most part, the market, it seems to be coded in for a massive surge in the next few weeks, next few months. We do not know percentage-wise how much, but I really like to compare global M2 and Bitcoin with a 102-day lag to basically showcase the trend. I still believe Bitcoin is going to be following this trend with a crazy surge basically up and coming very, very shortly here, and altcoins will follow that, right? I still think risk-reward-wise, Ethereum is one of the best ones, but on the short term, I actually think XRP might outperform here on the short term. If you're wondering what else we're waiting for in terms of numbers, in a few hours, or I should call it tomorrow, we've got ourselves the unemployment rate coming out, non-farm payrolls. People are going to be sitting on their desks to wait for these numbers. And the rest is a little bit later, not too relevant. But these numbers coming out tomorrow will definitely be something a lot of people are going to be paying attention to. With, of course, the inflation numbers coming out in another week from now. I think exactly 1 week, right? Yes, it is. And if you're wondering why this is also interesting, the unemployment rate, the metrics we talked about earlier, the job openings, the number of job openings per unemployed worker, a metric that Powell references a lot, just fell below 1. So this means there are now fewer job openings than there are people who are looking for a job. This will almost certainly lock in the rate cut for September, which is quite interesting. 𝗵𝗵𝗃 said, "Who knew being unemployed would make me rich?" That is a good question. Now, there's also one last thing I want to say. Nobody said this journey would be easy, and if it was easy, anybody would do it, right? Essentially, if I look back at every single one of the previous runs, they were all quite different, but one of the core key lines is that when most people say that it's over, it's not going to happen, now that's when you got to lock in. And this is that time. Realize this. Most people keep trying to say, Dusty, but when? Or they try to deny it, or they say, I'm hopeless. Yeah, but most people won't make it. I'm telling you right now, that for the most part, the people that will end this season on top are the relentless bulls. It is people that have got real big confidence this whole sector is going to do really well. And they don't really get deterred by all these naysayers, all these hopeless individuals, people who have lost it, right? I just say stick to yourself, stick to what you believe in. And thus far, with the stock market, so I guess the S&P we can say, with gold, with Bitcoin, with cryptocurrencies as a concept, nobody's ever lost. Right? If you only bought really small coins or you bought a random ass stock, sure. But as a sector, nobody's ever lost before. Get that in the back of your head. What is the probability that when it comes to the S&P, gold, Bitcoin, crypto, that you're the one who's buying at the exact point where everything goes to absolutely zero? It's quite a small chance. I think this sector is only growing. And so even though we got to be patient, I still think the best is ahead of us. And even if it doesn't happen tomorrow, all we got to do is stay focused enough to see the next day and the next day and the next day. And one time, you'll look back and think, damn, right? We might have been a bit too early in calling this. Oh, it was 2 months of waiting. Oh, it was really annoying, but it will all be worth it in the end. And that's the main thing I'm talking about on the channel here every single day. In the meantime, I'm making money on the volatility. As XRP's price or as any of these coins' prices go up and down, we're making money on it. So I'm basically chilling partially because of that. All right, you can see some of the numbers here have been pretty freaking staggering on some of these bots, which is really, really amazing. So for me, even if it doesn't go up like crazy tomorrow or the day after, at least we've still got another way to basically get ourselves a nice little income. But for the most part, also I'm on the same page as you, which is we want it to happen as soon as possible because that would be pretty nice for our portfolios, right? But on the opposite side, the quicker it happens, theoretically speaking, the quicker the fun is also over. And I'm fine with stacking my coins, getting myself in the right mental headspace while the market slowly but surely builds itself up with these crazy announcements. Because before you know it, it's going to be over and we have another year of bear market. Enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy the whole journey, not just the end result. And that's about it for right now.